Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm Rico Camacho. A lot has happened to me over the last few years, and even more recently, I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm just ready to be free from all of it. I'll be very frank. It started with a couple of divorces. Yeah, I said a couple of divorces, and it's moved into my career. And over the course of this time, one thing that I've learned is that you can't ever control your outside circumstances. And within learning that system of not being able to control anything outside of yourself, I've really dove into a lot of learning from Neil Donald Walsh to Jay Shetty to Brene Brown to Esther Hicks to Daryl Anka and a lot of different spiritual leaders. Because I mean, I'll be honest, I grew up Catholic, and growing up Catholic, tend to deal with a lot of guilt, and I've learned that that is a very, very low vibrational state to be in, and that doesn't help you or anybody around you. So, what I'm going to be talking about today is my journey through health, and I'll call it wealth, but not from the abundant structure of money. Wealth is a deeper concept of, I'm going to call it, for me, freedom. And what does freedom look like? Well, freedom looks like the concept that Buddha actually got to, and I believe Jesus agreed, is freedom of attachment. That was the whole concept around Jesus' crucifixion is, he was going through the worst things a human could go through with torture and dying the way he did, and he ended up with still loving somebody. Buddha, the whole concept of awakening. And I think the great masters of our days have all said the same thing. And it all starts with this concept of meditation. And so this concept of meditation is really, really important because it doesn't free you from your outside circumstances. And I think that's where sometimes people get lost in. It doesn't make you have a ton of money or the love of your life come into your world or the best job in the world that you want. That's not how it works. But it gives you the freedom to control you, the only thing in this world that you have a say-so over. And, I've been through even a lot of intuitives or psychics as they were, and people read tarot, and, I still learned. It's still all about them or you. So every relationship is a reflection of who you are, not of the other person. And I struggled with that concept for a long time because if somebody's smacking me, what does that say about me? Well, that was what the most freeing thing was. It does say a lot about me, my worthiness. I'm allowing them to hit me. That's the whole concept of Jesus saying turn the other cheek. It didn't necessarily, in my opinion, again, this is just my opinion, mean literally take the hit. It means it doesn't bother me. If you're going to hit me, fine, hit me on the other cheek. Who cares? Doesn't matter. And that is one of the hardest concepts to wrap your head around because it's difficult. Now, everything is a choice. You get to choose whether or not you turn the other cheek and get hit or not. And, I may get a lot of flack for that, but I've gotten a lot of flack over the last couple of months, a couple of years, and I'll tell you a little bit about my story, and this completely relates to meditation, is that I went through a couple of divorces, which were very, very difficult. Then I went through some very difficult career attacks, a couple, not just one, but a couple. And I was like, why am I taking this? What does this have to do with anything? And I'll be honest, I started my meditation journey with, okay, I'm going to meditate, and you know what's going to happen? It's going to work out great. I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to, breathe and follow all the mantras and the homes and the ums, and, everything will work out better, but it kept getting worse. And I'm like, wait, why? And I started getting angry. There was a lot of anger. And, I don't know if I feel angry anymore. I just feel like blah, like none of it matters anymore. It's a sense of detachment, as it were. Now, I don't know if I've achieved enlightenment. I'm not saying I have because I don't know if we get to define that. But what I do feel is that I meditate differently now. And what does that mean? It's this time where I can wake up in the morning and just think of nothing. It's a relief from the stress, from any sadness, from any emotion, negative emotion. And it gives you this opportunity to just look at life differently. And one thing I've learned a lot, and I have to give credit where credit is due, with all the masters I've read and studied and listened to YouTube videos, Daryl Anka, who states that he channels a extraterrestrial named Bashar, and whether you believe that's true or not is irrelevant, but the message is very, very, very important to me, and it resonated with me a lot. He says, follow your passions with integrity without the insistence of an outcome. And that all bothered me for a while too, and I didn't quite understand what that meant. And now I'm understanding. I'm sitting here talking to you people, whoever's listening, and I'm just enjoying it. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe nobody listens to this, and that's okay too. But I've learned that just doing what you need to do for the sake of doing it because it's a positive thing, when you hurt somebody, that's not who you really are. That means is that if I'm out there hurting somebody, then that's a negative, right? But sitting here talking to you about meditation, I can only assume that's a positive thing because it helps us regulate. It helps us come down to who we are. And one thing that I've learned about the meditative state is that it just is relaxing. There's no judgments. There's no worries. You just sit there. There's no negativity. And it's hard. It's really, really hard. And I think people minimize the fact of how difficult meditation is. And the reason I say that is because we have this notion that you sit, in the Buddhism, and all of a sudden, enlightenment is here, yay. Man, when I started meditating, when I was telling you guys earlier, oh my God, I was just, mad at myself a lot because thoughts would come into my head. After, a minute max, and I'm giving myself credit on that minute. Most of the time it was in 10-15 seconds, and I just give up. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm worthless. I can't meditate. The masters have it figured out. I don't. And I've learned that I just lean into these thoughts now. Okay, that's what it is. All right. And I stop caring about the thoughts. And it's weird because then the thoughts almost seem to just disappear. Like they don't exist, positive or negative, because I've just stopped caring about even the thoughts. That's the state of it I'm in. And I've just come to find this freedom, it doesn't matter whether I have a house, whether I have a corner on the street, it doesn't matter. We make meaning of life. Life doesn't make meaning of us. And the more angry or negative emotion, the more attached we are to things. True love is letting go, just understanding that you exist, and it doesn't matter how, because at the end of the day, we all end up in the same place, dead. And where we go after that, people have ideas, but nobody really knows, and you just get to choose to enjoy what you have in front of you the best you can. And sure, you can plan for the future. That can be fun. Even think about the past. That can be fun. But past, present, or future, all matters on how you feel about it. And that meditative state helps you put it into perspective. And that's what I learned big time from Bashar as I go back, as this ramble continues, in that learning that everything in life is about perspective. I've gotten arguments about people with this. They're like, well, 2 + 2 = 4, and you can't argue that. You could if you wanted to. Anything can, because life is literally all perspective. And meditation takes judgment out. That is the key to it. And just letting you just sit back and enjoy, even if it's the worst of times, or what you believe is the worst of times, because maybe the worst of times is actually your best of times. Who knows? Because everything, again, is about perspective. And I'm glad to go on this journey with you guys about working out. Exercises put me into a meditative state differently. And that's the other thing that I find very fascinating is meditation isn't just crossing your legs and holding your hands up like this. You can go into meditation when you run. The movie Soul, fantastic. There's different ways you go into the zone, as it were. Athletes go into it, musicians, everybody can do it. And you choose to do it when you just let go and be what is in the moment you are. And so I feel as though meditation, sure, it's a practice every day. And it is hard, as I said, when you try to force yourself to do it. But when I'm doing things, sometimes even talking in front of people can be meditative. Meditation is the idea that you're able to just let go and not judge the moment, not judge the person, not judge anything in front of you. And we're all human. We all do it. I do it. And I find this so incredibly hard, like really hard. But it's part of the journey. And as I said, I'm excited to go on this journey with you and show you my meditative states and working out and the health and wealth, as I said at the beginning of this. It's about your mind and body and soul. And I'm hoping that maybe together, through everything I'm about to do and go through with you, we can all do it together, because I know there's a popular mentality like, I need to find myself before I do anything or have any connections. What the truth is our connection to others helps us learn who we really are and understanding that love. And another thing I learned from Esther Hicks is, when you leave a problem, you take yourself with you. So whether you're getting divorced or broken up with, or fighting with a friend, or fighting with a child, or fighting with a parent, the closer you are and the harder that it feels to you, that's a trigger that you got to figure out, because the next relationship you're going to figure it out. And then what's going to happen is you're going to end up looking right in the mirror, and when you have nobody else to run away from, that's the person you have to face, and that will be the most difficult person you have to deal with, is the one you look in the mirror. So might as well do it while you're having some fun with somebody else and enjoy the connections we were put on this earth for, because we are social creatures. We're not meant to just live as monks in a corner and just worry about ourselves. Yeah, we need to take care of ourselves, and that's what meditation is. But at the end of the day, it's how we deal with each other on this planet and how we go through this journey, and that is why I want to go through it with you. Thank you so much. Let's get to it.